So it's been a little over a week since Donald Trump became president-elect, and he hasn't even actually done anything. But that doesn't matter. You know, his mere presence, the mere fact that he won, was enough to, I guess, literally cause panic attacks and shivers to the liberal-minded millennials of my generation. And this, I guess, kind of more than anything speaks to the video I made prior to this one about, the whole unsung bully thing. Because I've never in my life seen a gigantic collection of weakness or people being upset. I mean, there's actually literally articles covering women waking up in terror, seeing Donald Trump in their sleeps or in their bed. It's not a joke, by the way. This is true. Lazy Green also made a video about what happened, but it wasn't nearly as salty as I had hoped, and many people made video responses to Lazy Green, and they didn't really have much to say, because Lazy Green didn't really have much to say, so I'm not going to cover that video, because Lacy's video kind of speaks for itself. But I will cover this one, because I do think it's interesting. It's by my favorite feminist, and I like doing video responses to her, because I like her, so let's see where this one takes us, because I'm not going to say anything original here, unfortunately, but I do think that this is a message that should be signal boosted. So while I won't be very original today, it's still a message that needs to be sent out. So by all means, take us away.
If you voted for Trump, and I know this isn't an insignificant percentage, about half of you voted for a man who's...
Well, more accurately, I'd say more about a quarter of people voted for a man. Because, as it turns out, I think only like 45 or 48% of people, or eligible voters, actually voted in this here election. Which is interesting to me. I do find that to be interesting. I actually don't.
Says that it's okay to grab women by the pussy.
Well, no, to be more accurate, he was saying that gold-digging women will let him grab them by the vagina because they find at least the idea of them getting money is more important than their bodily integrity. And that's why people don't hold gold diggers and whores in very high esteem. Because when you look at it, some people believe that, money is not good money. You shouldn't sacrifice your bodily integrity in the pursuit of money. I mean, this is a little biblical. What should profit a man to gain the whole world but to lose his soul? That's why people don't hold these women in high regard. I could go more in depth, but I don't really feel like it right now. And the video will make the video longer. But seriously, he's not saying that it's okay to grab women by their vagina. Well, actually, in a strange twist of things, it would be okay to grab women by their vaginas if you have their consent. And I can go on for days about that concept, but I won't. So he was talking about gold diggers, Marina, not regular women that walk down the street.
Well, not quite half of you, because the popular vote and all that, but the Electoral College is only a problem when your candidate doesn't win, right?
Yeah. Notice how you only have a problem now that your candidate did not win. Well, you said it, not me. Well, I did say it, but you said it first.
And I get it. You wanted a change. Well, you got one.
This is here where I have to steal a little bit from Bill Burr, because I like him so much, and what he said was reasonable. And that is this really going to affect your day-to-day? Like you gotta wake up, you gotta put bread in the toaster, and then you gotta put butter on it, right, when it pops out. I mean, but is Donald Trump being the president, is that really going to affect that process of you, eating a bagel in the morning, or you going to work each day? And for the most part, it's not, and I think we all realize it's not, at least I realize that. Honestly, Donald Trump being the president is not really going to affect my day-to-day all that much. I think a lot of people are hoping that it will, that they'll be able to get jobs and become unemployed, and, some illegal immigrants, allow me to repeat myself, some illegal immigrants, might be shivering in their pants a little bit, but most normal people who abstain from voting are probably just like, this is not going to affect my day-to-day. That's why your friends are all terrified. I imagine it might have something to do with all the lies told by the mainstream media, but I could be wrong there.
My friends and my family, people I know, people I don't know, are terrified. Women, people of color, Muslims, immigrants.
Let me help you out there. Illegal immigrants. In other words, if you legally immigrated to America from somewhere else, you're safe. So all that fear that you're having, you should be able to disperse it now into the ether, because it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. should really let go of all that fear. It's not going to do you well. No, but seriously, if you're here legally, I don't really see why you're afraid.
Disabled people, gay people, bi people, trans people.
Why? For what reason? Has Trump even said anything against these groups of people? No, he hasn't. If anything, most of the rhetoric I've seen Trump use is against illegal immigrants and corrupt people in power. It's really kind of what he ran against, make sure drain the swamp, make sure all of these corrupt individuals in Washington are flushed out and gone, and we can, have better politicians who actually care and represent us as people. I've seen that, as a running staple, that and building a wall, which, like I said in my video on Trump a long time ago, I didn't see a wall coming anyway, so I'm not really too surprised he reneged on that, or reneged, because now it's a fence instead of a wall, so the barrier's coming, it's just not what he promised, or maybe he'll evolve it into a wall. I don't know, maybe this is Charmander and it's got to go through its stages before it becomes Charizard X, I don't know. But the point that I'm making is this. He hasn't said much about homosexuals, so I don't really see why they would be afraid at all of Trump winning. Maybe Pence, but Trump, I don't really know. No, I don't really understand that.
People who are branded as different. We are scared for our lives.
It's interesting how you people are scared for your lives, but it's also you same people. And I guess I can't really, put this on you, Marina. It's not like you're rioting, but there are people who are Hillary Clinton supporters who are rioting and hurting individuals, actually putting them in physical danger. I mean, if you think you're scared for your lives, I only have to imagine, how do all the Trump supporters feel when they're going to work in the morning and someone's burning their freaking business down?
Donald has always thrived off of fear-mongering.
That's almost like every politician ever. I mean, remember Barack Obama? I'm going to fix the financial crisis. I'm going to make sure we all bring back our jobs. You don't remember that? That was also fear-mongering too, taking advantage of the fear that people had that they're going to lose their jobs and not be able to make a bunch of money. Barack Obama did the same thing. I don't see you complaining then. But then again, we were teenagers, so it's not really like we knew much.
He's built his entire political campaign around painting our political climate as the worst possible scenario.
We were stuck between a reality television show host and a woman that was just downright evil and corrupt. So evil and corrupt that she would laugh about the deaths that she caused. So evil and corrupt. Actually, you know what? I think that speaks for itself. I don't really think I need to counter that point.
Diversity and progress as something to actively fear. Well, here we are. We are afraid. This is the worst possible scenario.
You mean to tell me you dislike Trump so much that nuclear war with Russia was a much more viable option? I don't have anything to say to that. There's no witty comeback for that.
A man who has never been told no sits on a throne that you built for him. A man who is exempt from paying taxes.
Hey, hi-ho. Hillary Clinton also didn't pay her taxes. Oh, but were you reported? Did anyone tell you that? Anyone tell you how Hillary Clinton just straight didn't pay her taxes? No? Oh, okay.
Man who thinks he can have his way with women's bodies despite their objections.
Now, you expect me to believe that Donald Trump, a man who's worth billions of dollars, has any trouble getting women to consent to do stuff with him? I'm sorry, Marina, but I live here in reality. This isn't Doctor Strange. I'm not in the mirror realm. I'm in real life, and real life has shown me consistently a pattern with some women. And that is, they like men that have lots of money. They have no problem sacrificing their bodily integrity to get some of that cheese. None at all. So, I'm just going to dismiss that outright. Get that out of my house, please. Thank you.
A man who our series of checks and balances will utterly fail.
Because geese, I guess. Is reason? I don't know.
As president. When marginalized people say that we are afraid of a looming reality that we already see unfolding.
That people will riot and burn the American flag, and attack people and steal the cars of individuals who voted differently from them? Is that the reality you are seeing? Because that's the reality that I'm seeing. I see a bunch of people attacking each other. Just saying.
A rise in hate speech, harassment, threats of violence.
Well, I'm going to beat this point home here and say there's been actual violence, so...
And now actual violence.
From Clinton supporters, just tag that on there.
Go home. You don't belong here. Make America great again, as long as you're white, and a man, and straight, and Christian. The list goes on.
I don't understand how you came to this conclusion. Like, I really don't get it. I don't really see what Trump said to make you think that he was pro-Christian, like, at all. That's even a factor in anything. I don't know. This whole white thing, I see more people with white guilt than I see people with white pride. And even then, the white nationalists only really get their pride from the fact that they're better than Negroes. So I don't really think they're too happy about that whole white thing either. If the only thing that's great about being white is the fact that you're smarter than black people. So, I mean, I'm just saying, I don't really see a lot of people who are, Anglo-Saxons who are really super happy and proud about that whole Anglo-Saxon thing that's going on about them. I mean, they try to be, but in a climate that constantly beats them all down and tells them that they're the scourge of the earth, well, I can see how that's an uphill battle. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
Hate is no longer banished to the sidelines. Discrimination and prejudice are no longer fringe positions, if they ever were in the first place. I don't think they were.
I know, Marina. I know. This is a virtual pat on the head. I'm cyber patting you. Is that cyber sexual assault, by the way? I didn't have your consent for that. Is that illegal? Is it wrong to cyber touch people?
A fire has been quietly kindling in homes across the nation, hidden behind closed doors and screens.
Well, thanks to Hillary Clinton supporters, now it's actually in broad daylight. Or in the darkest of the night. Darkest of the night, illuminated by the flames of people's cars being burned, and people's businesses being destroyed, and people's screams howling through the night as they're physically beaten because they had an opinion you didn't like. I'm just saying, it doesn't seem like you guys are the only ones that have a monopoly on that whole fear and terrorism thing.
On the tip of white America's tongue, and quickly swallowed, to keep up the guise of equality. Equality is a fairy tale you tell your children at night, before you build walls in your sleep to keep out anyone who doesn't look like you.
I think we should be more accurate here. To keep out anyone that didn't come here legally. I really don't understand why this concept is really hard for a lot of people to understand. And I don't get why. You do understand that people who come to our country illegally are in a very, very vulnerable and dangerous position, right? You do understand that they can be taken advantage of, treated horribly, in a multitude of different ways, and because they don't have the legal rights normal Americans have, they get swept under the rug, or they never say anything because they themselves are illegal or are criminals. You do understand that it actually makes a lot more sense to get the person over here legally versus giving them amnesty and treating them like they didn't do anything wrong. I don't understand why this concept is beyond you. I don't get that. I really don't. I don't understand it. It confuses the bloody hell out of me, to tell you the honest truth.
The wildfire is spreading. It burns in the hearts of Klansmen publicly celebrating this new America. Or is it just a slightly repackaged version of old America? I really can't tell anymore.
Well, let's take stock, shall we? A bunch of white people who despise themselves and other white people running around talking about how they hate white people. Well, I don't really know if that's a staple of America. A bunch of people, white, black, Mexican, Latinos, or anything, are being attacked for having opinion that wasn't popular, or actually was popular, interestingly enough. Businesses are being destroyed and obliterated because people had an opinion you didn't like. I don't really know if this is old America. I'm just saying, this not from the history books I've read. I haven't read that a president was elected and then people lost their collective minds and decided to obliterate stuff. In fact, it was Americans banding together in order to repel threats against them, not being the threat itself. And the only time that actually happened, which was the Civil War, there's a lot of history that wasn't even deliberated, and even then actually ended up in a bunch of good stuff happening. Well, good relatively speaking. Some people, actually, I'm going way off topic. The Civil War is a very interesting topic that has a lot of different perspectives to it. I will leave it at that. The point that I'm making here is, I don't think that this is old America. I think this is new America. New America. A bunch of people get their feelings hurt and decide to destroy your lives because...
But it also burns in the hearts of our politicians, police officers, businessmen, blue-collar workers, students, ministers, and maybe even you. More white men and women voted in this election for Trump than they have for other Republicans in either of the past 2 elections. It's like you were waiting for a match to strike against us and burn us to the ground. Or maybe you were just waiting for someone else to hold the match.
I will have to say, I do find it very interesting how melodramatic a bunch of people are acting now that Donald Trump is the president of this here United States. I mean, I had always projected that Trump would become the president and he wouldn't be able to get much done because, well, the Senate and the House would probably hate him so much because he's not in the establishment. He's not, he's not in cahoots with them. I guess is the best word I can use, with my very limited brain functioning. What I find interesting more still, though, is again all of the hysteria and the literal hysteria that has occurred from this, and the riots and the attacks that people have caused. I find it very interesting how Marina paints her side, Hillary Clinton supporters or liberal-minded individuals, as the victims here, and that time will show how they are the ones who will be hurt. They are the ones who will be in pain. They are the ones who will suffer under this. I even saw the headline from Young Turks that a Donald Trump dictatorship could actually happen. And yet, despite the fact that I see all of this occurring, what I actually see happening are a bunch of liberal-minded individuals inflicting bodily harm and pain upon individuals that don't feel the way they feel. I don't know who said it. It's probably because lots of people have said it, and I find this to be incredibly true about a lot of liberal-minded people. And I don't really dislike liberals as much as I dislike the actions I'm seeing from people who call themselves liberals, so just to be clear here. But I'm seeing a lot of this happening, a lot of projection going on. So much projection that they could burn somebody's house down and then say, yeah, in the future, that will be my house. So today, in order to rectify the wrongs of what have happened today, I'm going to do wrong to all of you. And it's okay to protest and scream, not my president, to be angry and mad and upset. Completely withholding the fact that Hillary Clinton, the people you supported, that woman actually said something reasonable here, that undermining the democratic process would occur if someone didn't accept the election results. Completely withholding the fact that that flew right out the goddamn window when the person you wanted didn't arrive. I find it incredible how, despite the fact that you can see people do this, you pretend that you don't. Despite the fact that it's clear that it is liberal-minded Hillary Clinton supporters who are attacking and hurting and destroying people's stuff, you pretend that it's actually Trump who's at fault here, that he's the problem, not the people of your own side who should be challenged, who should be reprimanded, who should be put in jail, honestly, for hurting people. Again, not a very original message, seeing as multiple people have made videos about this topic, but it's a topic that should be signal boosted because this liberal hypocrisy is astounding to me. And it's so right in their face, I find it interesting that they can't see it. Hell, it's entirely possible that they're actually being blinded by it. So that being said, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed today's video, and if you did, man, go ahead and click the like button. Yeah, shoot, go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have yourselves a great day. I'll see you cool cats soon. Adios.